everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review for the 28th of September, 1985. We will quickly be through September, probably this coming week, and then we've got to go a little bit to a different direction. Although I'm going to try and find a few UWF shows along the way to kind of fill out our program here. We've got over 1,000 audios for you to check out. Also, if you're looking for life, business, relationship coaching, cheap plug for my other channel where we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here too. Want to give back to charity, and those subscriptions really would help us to do that. But in any event, this is kind of a noteworthy program for a couple of reasons. Specifically, the return from, I believe, Japan of Ted DiBiase, this particular program. DiBiase, of course, a pretty big name throughout the Mid-South area. Been here for the majority of time, I'd say the vast majority of time, around this 4-year run, maybe even through. He leaves in '87, so probably about 6 years of his career was in that Mid-South area, obviously with stopovers in other places, most notably other places being Japan during that time. But he's looking for leverage. He wants the World Championship. He wants the North American Championship. He wants the nature of all of that to come together for him, and he's less than happy. He's less than happy that Slater, no, it's not Slater, Sweet Hand and Dr. Death are no longer tag team champions. He's not happy with that. He wants things handled. Dick Slater, along with who we later learn is Dark Journey, although we do not learn her name right off the bat. We do learn that he signs a contract under a bit of duress, doesn't really care about contracts, just cares about whip and tail. Alongside Dark Journey, he signs a Mid-South Wrestling contract. This is a pretty big deal. Dick Slater, a guy that I never really understood the appeal of, so I'd love for someone in comments, easy for me to say too, give me a clue as to why I should care. Broadway Joe Malcolm providing Slater's first Mid-South opponent on television, at least on the main program. I don't know about Power Pro, but anyway, needless to say, Slater with some takedowns, nice rollovers, really basic stuff. Swinging neck breaker by Slater. Slater manages to stay on his opponent, tosses him to the outside, doesn't really care one way or the other about what's happening next. Pulls the man back in the hard way and kind of rolls him all the way around about and snaps him over with the inverted chin lock, drops the elbow, and Slater takes a pinfall attempt, but only gets a 1 count, rolls off, kind of like, is that all you got, kid? And Slater gets a victory, after kind of choking the man out, does a little bit more damage. Would have gotten a victory, actually, but he drapes the foot over the bottom rope, does Malcolm, and the Russian leg sweep is not enough to get the victory right off. Hard shots by Slater right under the chin, does a bit of a Samoan drop, and finally does get the victory. Slater unchallenged here, kind of a bit of a misnomer, or I wouldn't say a surprise by any stretch. Needless to say, Humongous and the Barbarian against Tony Falk and Pat Rose. Obviously still managed by Sir Oliver Humperdinck. That match kind of going in what would manage to be a very basic match style, obviously. Tony Falk, who is mainly a guy in Memphis. Humongous kind of powers him around a bit. Barbarian comes in, kicks him around, and overpowers him. Not that anyone should be surprised by that. Barbarian and power, big surprise there. Anyway, body slam by the Barbarian, kicks to him and kicks by him, and all of that. Rose tries to break free. He hits a drop kick, but doesn't even phase the Barbarian with a drop kick. Humongous comes back in, cleaning house once again, and manages to step over. We see a double team maneuver by the Barbarian, and the kind of that elevated clothesline from the second rope, and they are victorious. We move next to Another really short match, um, or actually an interview. Buzz Sawyer interviews himself. Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Um, Probably fired up on just about anything. He basically says who's going to stop the dog. Jim Ross does look legitimately a little nervous, honestly, around Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, but from every bit of what I've heard about the guy, probably worth looking nervous around him because he's not all there 100% of the time. Needless to say, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer against Rick Dunn is up next, and a really short match to be had here. Um, Mad Dog willing to bite and rub the man into the mat, just fight and strap and crawl and forearms to the back of the head. That would probably be illegal if this was UFC today, but Mad Dog stomping around like a madman, no pun intended, and big power slam, not as good as normal, but still decisive. And Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer gets the victory relatively quickly. Jake Roberts and Jim Duggan, who later team up, especially the 88-89 era. The first house show I ever went to was a Jim Duggan and Jake Roberts versus Rick Rude and Andre the Giant main event in March of '89. Anyway, that is there. Roberts and Duggan versus uh, Jerry Gray and the Nightmare. Roberts and Duggan, obviously baby faces, and their friendship, I guess, started in Mid South. Continues for several years. Duggan considers Roberts to be one of his best friends, or at least considered. Don't know if that's still the case now, but who knows in 2021 who stays connected from the good old days. Anyway, Roberts gets caught with a couple of shoulder tackles. Nightmare certainly there. Duggan clocks the man, spins him around after he had an attempted kick and clocks him. Jerry Gray comes in. Gray gets cut off from his partner. Roberts tags back in, and needless to say, he's looking for any advantage he can get. Big body slam by Jake Roberts, and kind of gives the hand signal for the DDT. Nightmare comes back in on one side. Roberts still the legal man with Gray on the other, and they come off. Roberts drops down, and hits the DDT. Boom, 1, 2, 3, and they are victorious. Bad Bob Brown against Hacksaw Butch Reed up next, and obviously, with a short span of time, Bob Bob Brown, a new enhancement talent. Not sure how long he stays here because we run out of consistent Mid South content here in the next couple of months. The end of September '85, we got October, November, and part of December, so 3 months, and we're out of consistent content anyway. So we don't really know how long Bob Brown is around. Butch Reed, on the other hand, we know has been around Mid South on and off several times over the last 4 years or so since our journey began in the Mid South area. But needless to say, things are a little different. Butch Reed, of course, passing away within the last 24 hours. Condolences to his family. Anyway, the kind of the bridge out of Brown and Reed not having any of it. Does the Greco-Roman knuckle lock power maneuvers and the like. Really basic stuff. Reed comes back to a vertical base, tries to get whatever advantage he can. Kind of gets a roll through. Brown takes a little bit of an advantage of his man, so they must have had some plans for him because he does get a few offensive maneuvers, clotheslines, and basic forearms and stuff against Reed. Reed does come back, gets the knees up, and manages a big shoulder tackle as he is wont to do. Press slam later, 1, 2, 3, and away we go. Main event time, DiBiase and Dr. Death, Steve Williams against the Fantastics. They've got about 7 minutes left of television time. Of course, Fantastics, Fulton and Rogers. And Williams comes in, takes over on Fulton, uses power early. Obviously, Fulton and Rogers, great sellers. And Dr. Death, again, still looks so powerful here, hands-on and completely in the man's face all the way around. Um, kind of ducks through, drop kicks under the chin by Fulton and hits him again several times. Big deep arm drags by Fulton and again misses the elbow drops, and we kind of get things going. Um, Ultimately, tag off, and uh, the Fantastics in control there. Dr. Death, DiBiase comes in. DiBiase, uh, has been primarily in Japan. Cuts off Rogers with a back elbow. DiBiase's so good at this time. Actually, one of the best of all time, in my opinion. Could have been an NWA champion. Sad that he wasn't, actually, in a lot of ways. Fulton or Rogers sends him up into the lights, backdrop, drop kick, and then Williams comes in. All four men come in, drop kicks by the baby faces. Heels bail out in a hurry. They are frustrated. Of course, DiBiase left with the tag team champions intact for Sweeten and Williams coming back and not having that. Can't be happy about that. Sunset flip attempt, sit out and down by Rogers. Rogers watches as he comes back to his feet. Clothesline by Williams. Williams cuts the man off pretty aggressively, and that doesn't exactly go the way anybody plans. Williams manages to take back over. DiBiase comes back in the legal man. He takes over on Tommy Rogers. Lots of brawling in the next little while. Williams comes back in, uses his power. Williams is not able, though, to hold on to Rogers. Rogers sneaks away, hits actually a botched move, believe it or not, as there is a attempted crossbody from the second rope, misses that. Speaking of misses, though, Williams goes to the top rope, not maybe less than 2 minutes later, or the second rope, misses a diving headbutt splash combination there. Tag off to Fulton. Bobby Fulton comes in, goes nuts, attacks both men. DiBiase first, actually, even though he's on the outside of the ring. All four guys in the ring with a little bit of time left, less than 3 minutes left in the program. All four guys in the ring, and ultimately the heels get sent together in the middle. Fulton and Rogers take over on DiBiase, double drop kick on him, a la the Rock and Roll Express over in Crockett at the time. And Williams comes back, manages to rake the eyes of his adversaries. DiBiase goes into his tights, manages to pull out some level of weapon, loads up the glove that he's known for, Fulton manages to roll up Williams, but DiBiase bails out after nailing him with the glove. 1, 2, and 3. DiBiase and Williams are victorious against the Fantastics here under dubious distinctions and such. And ultimately, that doesn't go very well at all, to say the very least. And then there is a match, or a music video rather, for Lord Humongous to close the show. That'll close September for us. We will be back sometime this weekend with the finishing of October, November, December in 1985. We'll be back with more right after this.